5 years ago, we were in one of the best years for cinema in modern history, 2019. With masterpieces like Ford v Ferrari, Uncut Gems, Parasite, Avengers Endgame, and many more, it was easy for films to slip into being the next big blockbuster. Superhero movies were at their height with the build to Endgame. This year saw other superhero flicks like Captain Marvel, Shazam, Spider-Man Far From Home, and X-Men Dark Phoenix. I must mention that Joker was the only one of the comic book films this year to end up with an Oscar, with Joaquin Phoenix bringing back an Oscar to the title of Joker as Best Actor, and the film's score winning Best Original Score. All of these other comic book films, I would argue, follow a similar superhero-styled formula, but director Todd Phillips, yes, the guy who made the Hangover movies, came into Joker knowing that he was not going to make a comic book film like the others. This movie takes a focus on society and mental health. Approaching its sequel, we're going to be breaking down, recapping, and taking a look at Joker 5 years later. Hello and welcome to Studio Cinema Saturday, the show where we review films old and new, the ones you don't like and the ones you do. I'm your host, Kael, and today I'm taking a look at Joker. And yes, I know it's not Saturday, but this is a bonus episode coming out on Tuesday. The cast follows Joaquin Phoenix as Joker, Robert De Niro as Murray Franklin, Zazie Beetz as Sophie, and Frances Conroy as Penny Fleck. I'm gonna go straight into spoilers here. This is a 5-year-old movie and its sequel literally comes out in 2 days, so let's get straight to it. This was a film I liked so much I saw it in theaters twice. It highlights themes within our societal construct and mental health, and ultimately takes a dive into looking at how people with mental illnesses are treated by society.
Can you please stop bothering my kid?
Sorry.
In this story, we follow Arthur Fleck. And I'll say in a year full of so many comic book movies, we desperately needed to go off the beaten path a little bit and maybe take an exploration of maybe a different look at a character. And that's what Arthur Fleck was for the Joker. In this, we see that he has a laughing condition, and while this is different to his comic book counterpart, I feel like it gives us this aspect that we feel bad for the Joker as soon as the film starts. Arthur Fleck and this whole entire story take a massive load of inspiration from Taxi Driver and the character of Travis Bickle, two mentally unstable characters that lash out on society, only to be painted as a hero by some. These are films that follow anti-heroes, and besides the story, Todd Phillips borrowed a lot visually from Taxi Driver, as well as had its producer Emma Koskoff on board. To lay out the plot, with Joker 2 coming up, we follow Arthur, who dreams of becoming a comedian. We see him dream about it while he watches a comedic talk show, The Murray Show. Meanwhile, he's getting beat up working as a party clown. In his therapy sessions, when asked, whether he's been having negative thoughts and whether he's been writing about them, Arthur reveals to us,
All I have are negative thoughts, but you don't listen anyway.
And in the same scene, we find out that the facility is no longer going to be giving him therapy and he'll no longer be receiving aid from them. On top of this, he also loses his job around this time because he carried a pistol to a hospital because he had previously gotten beaten up, but he got caught bringing the pistol to the hospital, and this really sets him up. Then, we start to dive into his relationship with his mother, and it's very obvious that they only have each other here, and things become real when his mother reveals to him that he is the son of Thomas Wayne. And Arthur, like any young boy would, goes searching for his past. He goes searching for his father, and he ends up confronting Thomas Wayne, who tells him his mother's insane and that she was locked up in Arkham Asylum. That's when he starts digging into why his mother was in Arkham, and he finds out that none of it's true. This eventually leads to him killing his mother, and this is another situation of, the help that he had around them not actually being there for him not being able to trust, his therapy facilities, his mother, his friends who assisted in getting him fired. He has no one throughout this film. All of these things slowly start to tip him over the edge. And that's when we get to the famous subway scene. This is when he's getting picked on by 3 men, and finally he pulls out his piece and hunts them down and relishes in the murderings of these guys. You know, so much that he ends up doing the dance in the bathroom to celebrate his victory, and this is an amazing moment in the film. It's kind of after this that you kind of pick up on, you know, this film's been working like a case study, and you know what's coming next. He's about to blow. It's this stage of the film where everything's falling apart, and then Todd Phillips hits the audience with something that if you've seen Taxi Driver, you probably saw coming. Sophie and all these dates they've been going on and her going with him to see his mom, you find out that none of that actually happened and that she's just the neighbor girl and everything else has been in his head. And he enters their home without them knowing, and that's when you have a really tense scene where you think he might kill her. But, you know, you're left to assume that he lets her live, and you can only imagine that's because she kind of chuckled at his joke in the elevator early in the film. She's really the only character in this film that is semi-nice to him for at least a moment. Leading to the climax of the film, Arthur was invited onto the Murray Show because of his previous stand-up attempt in the film. He becomes ecstatic, completely ignoring the fact that they're bringing him on to laugh at him. Once he arrives at the show, he asks to be called Joker and announced as Joker, and that's when you know this is not going to be pretty. When they begin to turn the interview against Arthur and take a look at who he really is, he confesses to the subway killings earlier in the film. This is when he delivers his final joke of the film.
What do you get?
I don't think so.
When you cross
a
mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash.
Call the police,
I'll
Gene.
tell you what you get.
Call the police.
You get what you deserve.
Joker shoots Murray and the police get him, but before he can be taken into custody, we see the masses rioting. People dressed up like the Joker. And you know, if you're a comic book fan, this maybe even makes you think of like the beginning of the Joker gang. And that's when they crash into the cop car, they pull Joker out, and they let him relish in what he's created. But in 100% classic Joker style, the film ends with Joker in Arkham Asylum. This is a film that thrives off of a style, theme, and cinematic structure that was proven to work already. And similar to my Exorcist video coming out this Saturday, Taxi Driver is another film from the 70s that remains just as relevant today as it did back then. I'm super excited for Joker 2, Joker Folie à Deux to come out, and I'm super excited for Lady Gaga to come in as Harley Quinn and for this musical aspect. I'm a huge fan of her in A Star Is Born and him in Walk the Line, so I think this musical aspect is going to be super awesome. I think Joker 2 is going to be awesome in general. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. We hope you're enjoying Studio Cinema Saturday, and I hope you're here for Horror Month because that starts today. Studio 24 Horror Month is going to be a series of horror-related things coming to the channel all month long, starting with Exorcist. This Saturday, we're doing a review on that film, Rosemary's Baby. We have 3 horror short films coming out, Rehab 404, I See It in Your Eyes, and on Halloween night, The Ties That Bind will come out. I hope you're sticking tuned for all of that Studio 24 content, and I'll see you there.